I just think, I mean, look, as I say, I'm no Arsenal fan, but I think both. Do you want your game to become that? Like, we're basically going to see games that go on for 100 minutes, and we're seeing an increase in red cards. So we're going to get longer games with more red cards. And we all know that when a team has a red card, it makes the game less of a spectacle. So these prats in charge again haven't thought it through. Let's have longer games with more red cards. I don't mind longer games with everyone on the pitch, but that is a terrible red card. The second yellow card is softer than an ant's fart. I mean, he barely touches him, and it's Crystal Palace again. This is what happened with Casemiro. Casemiro against Crystal Palace. AU, same bloody player in it again. Mark, you said this. Rival fans slagging Man United. These bad decisions are coming for every Premier League club, says King. Yeah, Mo. Look, King Mo, you are a king. You're absolutely spot on. I said this about the handball against Spurs. I said it about the Casemiro things last year. It's coming to all of you. And you can take off your rivalry glasses and laugh when it happens to a club that you don't like. But I don't do that. I look at the officiating in general. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. You know what though? This comes from Howard Webb. This comes from the Referees Association. We want to see more red cards. We want to see more yellow cards. Do you want to see more red cards and yellow cards? Did anyone consult the fans on this? I don't want to see more yellow cards and red cards. I've been watching the game for over 40 years. If it's a yellow card, it's a yellow card. If it's a red card, it's a red card. I don't need to see more of them. I don't need us to create more yellow cards and red cards. I know what a yellow card is and I know what a red card is. And in some games, you see 10 yellow card tackles and it's 10 yellow cards. In some games, you see 2 yellow cards. In some games, you see no yellow cards. I don't need us to increase and manufacture yellow cards. And that's what they're doing. They're manufacturing more yellow cards to create more red cards. But what these idiots do not understand is when we get a red card, the game doesn't get more exciting. It's a fact that when a red card happens, the quality of the game, 9 times out of 10, diminishes. But these idiots don't think about that. They think, oh, you know what? It will be the same old crap in the morning, the refs union closing ranks, says Steve. Thoughts on the McAllister red card, says Star. Never a red. Never a red. I heard Liverpool were going to appeal it. Could be a dangerous game. How has he not booked the lad for fouling Nketiah there? It's the same foul. Oh, God, these referees are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Inconsistent as well, yeah. Good film. No yellows for the card gestures. Gotta love the consistency they've been talking about, says Soap. Mate, they're all over the place. They're all over the place. These referees are crap. They're not intelligent enough. So Tamiyasu, first yellow card. I mean, I can't believe it. His first yellow card was for taking a little bit too long on the throw-in. His second yellow card was for a... It's just unbelievable. I mean, that referee, unbelievable. I've just seen both of them. I don't think he should have got a yellow card for either of them, and he's now having an early shower. And you know what? I'm going to be fair to Newcastle here. Teams only really time waste in the last 10 minutes of a game when it's 1-0 and they're holding out. Arsenal are not going to look to time waste with half an hour to go. Ridiculous. I can sort of understand the first one because they're trying to get the game going quicker. So they don't want people, I'd be a hypocrite myself if I said that I'm against booking someone for taking 8 seconds to take a throw-in. Because ultimately it's going to make people take throw-ins quicker, which means the ball's going to be in play more. So I'm not necessarily against that. I can see it's stupid logic, but I can see the logic. But if you're going to book a player for time wasting because you want to cut out time wasting, you've got to be a bit more lenient with the second yellow card. because you're basically giving him a yellow card because you're trying to change the game. You can't then give him a soft yellow card. I think that's the stupid thing for me. And also, very good point in the chat there. More red cards means more teams playing with 10 men, which means more energy on the players, more exertion, more distance covered for longer games. I mean, are we ever going to think about... I hate the word player welfare because people will start going, they're on ridiculous money, I've got no sympathy with them. But, you know, I don't want to say this, but I will say it anyway. Have footballers suffered serious things on a football pitch in relation to exertion? Yes, they have. Now, some of those things are to do with conditions that they might not be aware of that could happen at any point. But do you want to keep running the risk of overexerting footballers as the games get quicker and quicker and the players have to be fitter and fitter? Has nobody ever thought that more red cards means that team's got to work harder, and then longer games means they've got to work harder for longer? We're going to see more injuries. We're going to see players put at risk more. Nobody's thinking it through. And that's just on the player welfare side in relation to physical exertion. As I said, for me, less players on the pitch for longer. Well, we know that less players on the pitch goes hand in hand with less quality, because the team with 10 men sits back, counter-attacks, and it ends up being an attacking team against a low block, which isn't as entertaining as 11 against 11. So they're not thinking it through. How long do players have to put in the throw-in? Is it up to the referees, or how does it work? How are they supposed to know they are taking too long, says Bryce. Well, it's a very good point from Bryce. I think if every player knows that they've got 5 seconds to take a throw-in, then everybody will take a throw-in within 5 seconds. But is there a rule in place? I don't know. Yakov says this benefits the team with more money at the end of the day. So we're trying to create a more competitive and interesting Premier League, and you're absolutely right. If teams are going to have to play for longer with less players, more regularly, then they're going to pick up more injuries and more fatigue. So therefore, the teams that benefit from this are the teams with bigger squads and more quality players, which will ultimately be the bigger teams who are richer. So, again, there's just no thought process. There's no thought process in anything that these officiating lawbreakers, makers, think about.